The next time you watch a use of force video, be it a cop on civilian or civilian on civilian, it doesn't make any difference. Next time you watch a physical use of force video, there's a few things you need to think about before you judge that person. Everybody's perception of a situation is different. My perception may be different than yours, but your perception of that situation is your reality. And you always have what I call the X factor involved in every situation. And that X factor is people. And sometimes you may have time to think about how to handle a situation. Other times you may have to answer 20 questions in a split second. Do you want to go home to your family tonight? Do you know that person? Do you know that person's history? Do you know if that person has a weapon? Can you tell if that weapon is real? Do you know that person's emotional state? Do you know that person's mental state? Do you know that person's true intentions? Do you know if that person's under the influence of alcohol or drugs? Do you know that person's skill set? Do you know what that person is thinking at that precise second? How close is too close? What is your comfortable range? 5 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, right upon you? Your personal space, how close is too close? How long does it take for a verbal threat to turn physical? A second, a minute, an hour? Is that person on probation, parole? Have they done time or are they wanted? Do you know any of this? Do you really want that person to strike first? Because usually in a fight, whoever strikes first wins. In most fights, your head is the target, your face. And it only takes a split second with the right punch to knock you out. And the last place you want to end up at is on the ground if you can keep from it, which is more or less where most fights end up. That's the reason a lot of people are into grappling, because that's where most of your fights end up, is on the ground. You can try as hard as you can not to escalate the situation, but sometimes there's just no getting around it. There's no getting out of it. Why don't the other person stop, think, and back off? A lot of it comes down to pride and respect. They feel like they've been disrespected. And, when you go to watch these use of force videos and it seems like it's easy to make that call, there's a few things that you need to consider, because things can be misinterpreted, things can be manipulated, misunderstood, both verbally and on video. First of all, can you watch a use of force video and leave your personal emotions out of it? Can you just look at the facts only? Can you be willing to accept the facts and the truth? Sometimes it may not be what you want. Everybody's perspective is different, so you have to stick to the facts. Who escalated the situation? Was the use of force legitimate? Did it really have to go that far? It's 2023, so you actually have to assume that everybody you deal with is armed or wearing body armor now, because that's a big thing. A lot of people are buying up body armor. And is the video on a race baiting site? Is the video on a cop hating site? If it is, then it's for money. It's agitators. And a lot of the laws have changed that has made it more difficult for cops to do their job, and in turn it's made it harder for the civilians, for the normal people out here to live. The bail reform, the no ID laws, the no chase laws, the no foot pursuit laws, having to have permission to do a pit maneuver, shorter prison sentences, allowing criminals to steal so much, allowing riots without a real use of force, no stop and frisk laws, drug laws being reduced, squatters having the rights to just move in, and really there's nothing the police can do about it. And that is pretty much where you stand. So it's a lot to think about. Like I said, sometimes you may have some time to think about it. Sometimes you might have to make all those decisions in a split second. I hope you never do.